I have people asking me, trolling me, wondering why I have not talked about the Los Angeles Rams. Well, let's talk about them. Since you want me to say something about the Los Angeles Rams, let's get into it. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the channel. It's me, your guy, the sports judge. All right, here we go. It's Wednesday night. The time is now. Listen, the Rams are what they are. And this was a team, I thought the Rams between coaching and Matthew Stafford would win at least 11 games and bid for a playoff spot. Not necessarily win, but at least earn a wild card spot. Well, we can see now that's unlikely to happen. It's not going to happen. I thought this Monday night loss told me a lot about the Rams and where they are collectively as a team. An undisciplined football team. And now you lost to the Lions, the Packers, and the Dolphins with the Eagles up next on your schedule. I kind of favor Philadelphia in that game. Philly is suddenly red hot after becoming a run first team. But here's the thing about that. The Rams is that the defense has done its job and was massively let down by the offense on Monday night against Miami. They've really figured out the defense. It's the offense you have to worry about. I've been saying I love their weapons, but I can't say they're going to do anything because they keep shooting themselves in the foot. I will say in terms of offensive talent, receivers, running backs, quarterback, they're good. A team cannot win games when it fails to execute in the red zone. 0 for 2 in the red zone, that just shows you how bad things went on Monday night in Los Angeles. Just maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago, we were feeling, all right, this team might actually be good enough to get into the playoffs, at least make some noise in the NFC or one of those teams that sneaks into a wild card position. A loss like this is discouraging, to say the least, when the Rams have been playing some really good football. They lost a game that is devastating and that the offense just couldn't score. That's how your season changes when the offense lets you down in a way that it did on Monday. They did not have a massive offensive outputting. I mean, you got guys, obviously we know what happened, and penalties and little things like that can fracture an already struggling team that's just trying to hold it together and fight for their lives every week, right? There were just too many mistakes and penalties, unacceptable play on both sides of the ball. Like, already you're at a point in the season where you should have cleaned a lot of that up. The mental errors, the mistakes, the undisciplined and sloppy football. One of the things you heard about this team after that loss on Monday is their inability to stay consistent and disciplined. The one criticism, especially on Monday, was that they don't play clean football. And this is where I feel like the Rams end up hurting themselves. Maybe, just maybe, if they eliminate some of the mental mistakes and play cleaner football, then they could actually win games. When you start to look at the defense making stop after stop and the offense not able to get in the end zone, it starts to look bad on the offense. So you look at what the defense is doing to keep the game close and give the offense multiple opportunities to fix whatever it is going on that side of the football. And you're going, well, it can't be the defense when the offense isn't doing enough to put points on the board. This is what I'm saying about the offense. There were just too many times, particularly in this game, where the Rams offense put the defense in bad situations. I would personally like to see the Rams get back to what they do so well, and that's the run game. Got to get the run game going, which would help with the play action. Sean McVay has to go back to the drawing board and go, all right, look, we're struggling right now. We're not playing our best football. We're not winning. But you know, what we like, what we can do, and if we clean some things up, more explosive plays, a more vertical game, then we give ourselves the best chance to win. We're what? Where are we? A little over halfway through the season. You got to look and say the Rams, yet time and time again, just refuse to be aggressive. That game on Monday was an all-time embarrassing performance. And when did Sean McVay become extremely conservative? This team is what? 0-4 when they attempt field goals? I think they've gotten to the point where, you know, there's just a lot of injuries. The injuries have piled up, particularly on that offensive line. The self-inflicted mistakes have left the scar. You've seen it. I think I would say, though, they kind of did it to themselves this time. I think they're aware when you put yourself in a position, like, for instance, talking about the Monday night game. They get to the 4-yard line, down 11, and elect to kick a field goal against an offense that had been torching you all night. To me, that was a clown move by Sean McVay. A truly awful showing by the Rams, particularly the offensive line and secondary, starting from the first quarter. When you start to look at this in totality, they played bad for 4 quarters, looked horrible from the start. Another game this year where they lost to self-inflicted wounds. Some of these games you look at their opponent, whoever it may be, and you're like, all right, they should be up by at least a touchdown or 2 touchdowns, and they're not. And they have no life or spark on offense, and now you're hoping your defense makes enough plays. No sense of urgency and no sense of readiness. Poor decision making, and that to me is kind of how the Rams have looked all year. And they find themselves, they keep putting themselves in a position to lose football games. And they have. They feel like a 1-8 team. But this is what happens with a team, anybody who seems to play down to their level of competition. Playing the way they did on Monday, getting housed by an inferior opponent in a primetime game, makes them look silly. The closest they've been to healthy on the offensive line all year, the killer mistakes, O-line looked out of sorts, awful and rusty, bad penalties. Matthew Stafford wasn't particularly sharp. Got to move on quickly from this one and on to the next. They can win football games, but they just shoot themselves in the foot. The plays are there in the Rams offense to be made. Wide receivers are coming open across the middle. Unfortunately, you need time to throw. It appeared they had no intention of blocking. That was just a demoralizing loss for the Los Angeles Rams and a win that they desperately needed. We'll see, but I think the way things are looking and the way things are shaping up to be, I just don't think this is their year. And I think we will know more, but this team is looking like it's looking like they're going to be a team that gets a top pick in next year's draft. Thanks for watching, everyone. Really appreciate the love and support. Thanks for checking out the content. It means a lot. Thank you wholeheartedly. And I'll be back with more content as always. I want to talk a little bit more about Caleb Williams. I want to get into that because, look, not only are the Bears setting him up for failure, but I feel like he is a bust, and I have been saying that. And I want to talk a little bit more about that. And I want to get into some more NBA. I want to talk about this NBA Cup because I think this is just an absolute joke. You guys know how I feel about the NBA. I talked about that the other day. So I'll get into a little bit more of that as well. But guys, till next time, you guys take care. You guys have a great night. We'll talk again very soon.